welcome to the weekly update show, where we're going to talk about some of the latest tech updates in the news that can actually have some practical impact on your daily lives. It's kind of what our objective is for this weekly show, is not so much speculation, but more so what's actually happening and what you can implement right away.
Actually allows us to make clips too, to put in other social media feeds too, right?
It does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Multiple purposes
Yes.
for the show.
Yes.
Now,
What's up? What's up first?
Latest news is going to be
Bum, 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 drum roll.
Where are my slides? Where are my slides? Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I see. Give me a second.
Oh.
Give me a quick. Entertain the audience while I pull up the slides.
Let's see. How can I entertain the audience? Well, we've been pretty busy presenting over the past week and a half with schools. I've learned a lot of stuff from the teens, some stuff that was actually quite enlightening about where they see the world going because of us adults, which is kind of cool. I actually wrote an article on that. You can find that on our Facebook page right now, which is kind of cool. So as we're waiting for the techno guru here, who I usually call my Yoda.
I was playing with some tech things right before we actually started.
Yeah, where we go.
So yeah,
Are we up and good?
I was tinkering. Yeah, we should be. Give me a second.
Oh God, here we go.
Blink.
Here we go.
Yep, here we go. Okay. First news article that sparked our attention was YouTube has making changes to both what you can filter and for parents to add limits.
Yes.
So the first one is going to be when you are searching content and videos on YouTube, in their filter category, you can now actually exclude short form videos.
Yeah, it's interesting what they're doing here. Like, because prior to this, you had YouTube Kids and then you had YouTube. And YouTube Kids wasn't really appropriate for adults and wasn't really appropriate for teens. And so, you know, you had that middle group, the what we like to call the black hole, right? The younger teens and teens. And so they've come up with this new solution now. And yeah, I've actually written an article. I'm going to be posting it tomorrow on our website on this very issue.
That one's for the YouTube parenting tools.
Yes, the parenting tools.
Now, for the average user, I know I've heard a lot of content on social media where people are searching for content and they're bombarded with just TikTok videos or short form videos. Yeah. It's like, no, sometimes people want a long form, in-depth how-to video, not a quick clip. Yeah. So if you are annoyed by that when you're doing searching, you can now actually just exclude those videos.
Yeah, you know, can we just talk about TLDR? Too long, didn't read.
Yeah.
You know, I have some real issues with that because a lot of the short-term content just doesn't capture context of what it is you're trying to get across, right? That's why, you know, articles that are longer in nature, they set the playing field, right? They set the context.
Yeah, but no one has time for that.
Well, you got to make time, and that's the issue.
Tell
right?
it
Like
to
when people,
your job and the economy. We have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs to make a living.
Well, but if you know, if keeping your kids safer online is that important, well, then guess what? You should be doing the research on that. Just saying.
I don't know. I think a lot of people, when it comes to like web security, they kind of want things to be done for them. Yeah. Oh, the amount of people I work with or kids who say, well, someone did something bad to me on the internet. The police will fix it all.
Yeah.
No.
No. But why? You have to give them context, right?
Yeah.
You got to give them context, and context takes time. Right. So I actually think we do ourselves a disservice when we do the TLDR stuff. Right. Like, don't get me wrong. I do think that there should be a synopsis, right? TLDR. And then there should be the content of it. Right. Like, I truly do believe TLDR sometimes doesn't backfill the context. And as a result of that, like we see this all the time with research that comes out where these people are quoting this research TLDR and they're saying the stuff that the research says. And then when you actually read it, that's not what the research said.
That's true.
Right? Like, come on, people, right?
So the other update regards to parenting on short-form content on TikTok is parents can, if they set up their kids with a parental or give them a child account.
That's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow.
So the parents have oversight. Right. So it's not like a young person makes their own YouTube account. Right. The parents actually have to take initiative here and build them a child account.
Yeah.
But with that, the parents can now put some limits in terms of how long they can consume short-form content.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we've been crying for, right? And people have been saying, well, YouTube should have done this years ago. Yeah, I agree. But they've now done it, right? Now, the proof is always in the pudding, right? Like, we're going to see how this works, right? They've said that this is what they're doing. So trust me, the kids will pressure test it to see if it actually does what it does, to see if there's any bypassing they can do around that. But hey, let's give a little bit of a tip of hat to YouTube to go, at least they're paying. Now, a part of the reason they're doing it is because the amount of political and public pressure right now that social media platforms are under because of what's going on in the world over age gating issues, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, but at least they've done something. And so I actually kind of applaud them for taking this step, right? This is what parents have wanted. And so they're now building these wants into their platform. Again, it'll, the proof will be in the pudding because they've made, a lot of these social media platforms have made us promises all the time. And then those promises are never met. So we'll see what happens with this one. So
ultimately, this one's
cautiously optimistic.
This one's all dependent on the parents, though.
Correct.
To actually implement these tools.
Well, go figure. Be your child's best parent and not their best friend when it comes to technology and social media.
Also, you might put limits on YouTube Shorts. You're going to want to make sure you also put limits on TikToks. Because you can doom scroll
or
on
Instagram.
Both. Yep.
Right?
Instagram has
Shorts,
Reels.
right? Like they have Reels, right? And now we've got things like Sora, right?
You can doom scroll with Sora AI.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And Meta's got I forget what they call theirs now, but Meta's got the same thing, right? With their AI shorts as well, right?
Yeah.
I forget what they're calling it now.
Well,
they have
right? It's their llama, but it's not like.
But it's kind of a competitor to OpenAI's Sora.
Yeah,
right?
It's TikTok-like short form scrolling.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay. So, updates for YouTube. Updates.
So, to take away from that, parents, now that YouTube has integrated these changes, then do what it is that you should be doing as a parent and making sure that you get it set up properly. Right? If you don't, and then the child is doing something they shouldn't be doing, well, then you can't be pointing your finger and saying, well, that's not our fault. Well, maybe it is, right? So,
I think a lot of tech issues would be solved if that were to happen.
I know.
Just said.
I know.
All right.
It's not. Having said that, this is not just a parenting issue, right? Like this is an issue that needs to be dealt with from a multifactorial standpoint, right? It's that parents have a part to play, legislators have a part to play, big business has a part to play. Parents are trying to do their best, but these big tech companies are still doing things that they shouldn't be doing because to them it's all about the bottom dollar. So that's where proper legislation comes into play.
Yeah, but that's underpinning the whole concept of capitalism.
Absolutely.
So you have to go after capitalism itself.
Well, to a degree. I mean, we put restrictions on cars. Got to wear a seatbelt,
which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah. Okay. You need seatbelts, you need airbags, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
We regulate food about, the types of additives you can put into food. And, so, I mean, we should be doing it with this industry as well.
But they can still charge you to subscribe to heat warmers.
Yeah, they could. And then that's a choice, right?
Yeah, don't buy that brand.
Exactly.
Buy a brand that's a foreign brand that might be coming to Canada pretty soon.
Yeah, and I actually have no problems with that.
Actually. So, updates to OpenAI. People have noticed, it's kind of a quiet update, but apparently on the standalone, it's not a standalone tool, but basically it's ChatGPT Translate. There's no full big announcement, but people have noticed that it's a dedicated web page and it allows you to translate text, voice, and images, supporting up to 50 plus languages with automatic language detection, which is exactly going after Google Translate.
Google, right? Like Google, there's no doubt that Google leads on this. Like, I hate to admit this. You said this about 3 or 4 shows ago that you said that Google Gemini is gonna be number one in this field. And I'm seeing it, right? Because ChatGPT, it's interesting to see because you're going to talk about something else here with ads and that kind of stuff that's going on. There's a lot of experts looking at what's going on with OpenAI, who owns ChatGPT, and some of the others saying they might be in a little bit of financial difficulty right now. And, they're trying to stay current with Google, but they're kind of like the tortoise and the hare. Like OpenAI was the hare. Right? Let's be first.
Yep, they launched and they were the most popular app in human history within a month.
Yeah, and Google has been moving fast, but they've been doing it methodically. They're more like the hare, more like the turtle.
Well, Google had a lot more pre-existing content. They had to figure out how to integrate.
Right. So, but they're approaching this race because everybody's racing to super intelligence, right?
Yeah.
They've approached it more from a methodical standpoint. So again, I use the analogy of the hare versus the turtle race, right? And they're more like the turtle, and the turtle's starting to catch up to the hare, right? So
Now, it's not an official announcement. It's not like a full-blown app. But what I do find interesting is that their translations, you can actually make them either more fluent, business formal, academic, or child-friendly.
Oh, cool. Can you have accents?
I have no idea.
I would like an Australian accent on mine.
Okay. So keep an eye out for this. I do know that the Google Translate app is like the most used app for translation in real time, but I do see ChatGPT trying, and you can test it right now by going to their dedicated standalone page.
Cool.
So if you're curious, that is available.
Cool.
Now, mentioned.
I hate to admit you were right.
SimilarWeb, which is kind of like a web traffic data analysis group, they have been looking at the market share of who is using which AI app platform. Google Gemini crossed the 20% market share point in recent months, and what they're finding is other AI tools are showing similar but noticeable growth. Grok has shown an increase of about 3.4%. I would say probably last month because everyone's trying their AI image tools. DeepSeek 3.7%, Claude 2%, Perplexity 2%, and Copilot 1.1% because no one uses Copilot because boo. Microsoft.
There's some cool things you can do with Copilot, but it's interesting, right? Like it really is, and I think ChatGPT. That's why ChatGPT. I think you spoke about this last show or the show before that, where the Altman announced Red Alert. Right? They went into Red Alert, right, because they knew their market share was being challenged by other Red Alert. It's like Star Trek, right? That's kind of cool, right? All we need now is the transporter, right? So we can transport to locations. We kind of do it via video now, but we
don't get me started on that.
Okay. Anyway,
there's a whole hypothesis that no one's actually alive in Star Trek because you as a person basically no longer exists when you get animized.
Oh,
right. Anyways, fan theories.
But it's very, very interesting to me right now to see what's going on in this race.
So in January 2025, ChatGPT had 86% market share.
Yes. What are they at now?
January of this year, they're at 64.5%.
Yeah. Ooh. Again, they took the hare approach, right? In the hare versus the tortoise race, and they became the hare. And I think as a result of that, they were trying to do too much, too quickly, too soon, and just weren't prepared. And whereas Google has they put all their turtles in a row, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We knew this was coming, right? Like all of them are talking about this, right? Like Facebook is talking about this, ChatGPT is talking about this, Grok is talking about this, where they're all looking to figure out how to monetize what's going on. Like if I was Google, stay away from monetization.
But that's like Google is like the OG of monetization of free content.
But if they keep the advertisements out of their platform, because I think you got another slide coming up here pretty soon where ChatGPT.
That's fair. Google could generate revenue from its additional services.
Correct.
Like you can pay for Google Drive space.
Correct.
You can pay for more professional email.
Correct. Now,
okay.
We got to understand that no matter what platform, be it OpenAI, be it Grok, be it Perplex, whatever, that they're all data mining the stuff, right? Like they're all doing it, right? But what's interesting, and I think we got a slide coming up, correct me if I'm wrong, where we're going to be talking about ChatGPT or OpenAI now using advertisements.
That's this one.
Oh, this one?
So yeah, ChatGPT will be testing ads inside the free version of ChatGPT and their new ultralight Go plan.
Yeah. And so you got to ask yourself why, because again, they're struggling for money. They got to figure out how to monetize to get some of that money back. And I've read some articles now. There was some expert testimony here at the Canadian Parliament where they were talking about AI and all the issues around digital. And there was a PhD doctor who's been studying this, and he says there's clear evidence now showing that these platforms that now integrate advertising, are the advertisers going to be being paid big bucks to these companies like OpenAI? Will its responses, their prompts that you're prompting in, will they response the higher their, like if you're paying, is it going to become a pay to play?
Here's what OpenAI has officially said.
Oh, yeah, let's believe them.
Well, okay. First off, conversations such as if you're trip planning could trigger relevant ads such as hotels, activities, and products.
It will.
Now, OpenAI does say user conversations will not be sold to advertisers. So, for example, if you are planning a trip to somewhere, the actual text of what you're actually prompting won't be shared with the advertisers. That data is sort of aggregated to the advertisers.
Okay, let's game this out. Go ahead.
Hold on. Users can turn off ad personalization.
Okay.
So you have some control.
Yeah.
And ads will not influence ChatGPT's answers.
Yeah, whatever. So let's game this out. When ChatGPT said that they're not going to sell it to advertisers,
the conversations, the actual back and forth, like Darren said this, that triggered.
But if let's say Darren AI. Let's call it Darren AI. If Darren AI all of a sudden understands that you're going to Toronto and you're talking about trying to find a hotel, you'd be fooling yourself to think that Darren AI is not to go, oh, hold on a second. Here we have an advertiser, a customer a client of ours who's got a hotel chain in Toronto. Let's just kind of funnel him a link to this so that they can embed.
Okay,
so they're not really selling it.
It's
right?
also not going to be integrated seamlessly into conversations. It's going to be like a separate ad box, kind of similar to like when you do like a Google search. From what I can imagine, like when you do a Google search,
I'm suspicious.
You'll see the links, but you'll see like the sponsored parts.
Yeah, I'm suspicious.
So, in addition, they will not appear in conversations on topics such as health, mental health, and politics. And users who have under 18 accounts will not be.
Hold on. Did you just say that they're not going to look at health issues? Is that what you said? But yet
they will not provide you ads if you're talking about health related topics or health related.
Because that's important, because OpenAI announced last week that they've now got this new segment that they're looking at with regards to health OpenAI, right?
Yes.
Where you can talk about, which I would recommend nobody does at this point.
I don't know. If you're an American and you don't have health care. I mean, you're rolling the dice, but hey, I mean, you kind of need universal health care in order to legitimately say to people, don't use AI for health, because you need universal health care. But unfortunately, some people don't have that.
Yeah, but even when you have universal health care like we do in Canada, it's a long wait to get the health care.
That is also true.
Right. So anyways,
I
just wouldn't be sharing my personal medical information to an AI. Just wouldn't do it.
Different topic, but yes, do expect if you're using ChatGPT free or the $8 super light plan, you will be given ads. Testing, but I don't see why they wouldn't actually, keep this as a program.
Absolutely.
When you have 800 million users, like who wouldn't, as a brand, who wouldn't want into those eyes?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways. So there have been a lot of reports, and there's a deal between Apple and Google Gemini.
Yeah.
In order for Apple to integrate Gemini. So there's been some more clarifications on this.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Yep. My understanding is that Apple has signed a contract with Google so that Gemini will basically be the foundation of their Siri.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's what I read.
Reportedly, getting more details over time, it looks like Google Gemini is being licensed as the training foundation. So, how do I explain it in a better way? It's being trained on Gemini, but the actual Apple intelligence ecosystem will still remain the same. It's just going to be given a lot more smarter information.
Okay. Hold on a second.
If that makes sense.
Okay, so let's put this into plain English.
Okay.
When I first started this company and you were just a little kid and that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden you grow into a young man and you started basically being an understudy for me for presenting and, and you're learning the tricks of the trade. And then what you did is you took that information, you made it your own based upon your education, but still there was a foundation there. So the foundation was basically my knowledge base and then combined with what it is that you're doing. Well, that's kind of what you're telling me that Apple is doing now. Right?
Yeah. So like Gemini will not be running natively on your Apple product.
But it's training Siri to do what Apple wants Siri to be, which is their equivalent of Gemini.
Yeah. Think of it like Siri is getting some training wheels. Okay. Like Siri, you keep falling over because AI, you suck at it. It does.
It does. Like Apple.
They were first to market with Siri.
Yeah, they were.
Like you have an assistant with you. Yeah. But they've done nothing with it.
Yeah, no, I think Apple has kind of missed the boat on this, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think they've recognized that. So now what they're doing is they're hitching their wagon.
They're paying Google $1 billion per year.
Yeah,
it's
they're rolling their dice. But that tells you something because Apple's not dumb. So why didn't they? Why? Well, let me kind of build upon that. Why didn't they hitch their wagon to OpenAI?
Because Gemini has a lot more information. Because Google.
Because I think Apple sees what's going on, right? And because Apple's smart that way. From a business standpoint, they're smart. Like any company, always make mistakes, but overall. So I think they see the writing on the wall. And I hate to admit this, but I think you're right. I think where I was saying, no, you know what, OpenAI, ChatGPT, it's going to stay number one. It's going to be the leader, and it's going to be first to reach superficial intelligence. I don't think so. Now I'm thinking maybe Google Gemini will be the winner in this. And so Apple is hedging their bets. And I think that's the reason why they connected with Google rather than
by
OpenAI.
Paying them roughly $1 billion per year.
Yeah, still.
But hey, Apple has the money. So just so you know, it's not like your Siri becomes Gemini. It's Gemini is running a little deeper in the in the workflow.
So maybe we call it Sigmify. Right? A mashup of Siri and...
Oof. All right.
Hey, Signify.
Speaking of Apple, because you are an Apple user and we have a lot of Apple products.
This. I was going to talk to you about this. I was going to ask you some questions.
All right. You asked me the questions.
Well, how about if you talk about this first?
So Apple is launching Creator Studio.
Yes, I saw that.
So their creative products, such as Final Cut, which is like a video editor.
Yeah.
Their Logic, which is a music editor. Their photo editor. Basically, they are going after Adobe.
Yeah.
With Adobe Photoshop, Premiere, all that stuff. So they're offering their products at $12 a month or $130 per year as a subscription. Now, you can still buy the products right up front.
Yeah.
So you don't.
So that's where my question was going to be. My question was going to be because we use all these products independently, right? Like we use
Final Cut.
We use Final Cut.
We use Compressor.
We use
I use it for video editing.
Yeah. We use Keynote.
Yep.
We use Mum uses it for what is it?
Numbers.
Yeah, numbers, and she also uses the pages, right? Yep. So, would it be cheaper for us to go? No, okay,
no,
all right,
no.
So that was my question.
No, well, here's the thing.
Like, what's the advantage then to go into this?
Pages, Keynote, they're free. They come with free tools, right? You don't. The benefit is the super expensive. So Final Cut is about $300-$400 outright,
right?
Same with like Compressor and all these and Logic. Like those are expensive apps you pay for.
And we've already got those, right?
We don't use Logic, but we use Final Cut and Compressor.
Right.
So
is that a yearly fee or is that a one-time fee?
No, one-time free.
Okay.
And we paid for that back in 2000 and I want to say 15.
Okay.
And $300, 2015. That's all we ever paid for it.
Okay.
So, is it worth $12 a month?
And they're also integrating AI into all of this now too, right?
That is the extra play. Some of these tools, you will be able to get additional features if you buy into their subscription model. Yeah. Now, will these features be mandatory? No. However, I did see some reports that if you use these special features, you cannot run the file on a computer that is not subscribed. So like Keynote, like a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
If you use PowerPoint or the Keynote here, and you build a Keynote with special features, the question
that
is...
you put on a thumb drive and then you're going to a school and you plug into their computer?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There is a lot of confusion around it likely won't work.
Gotcha.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
So Apple's going to have to figure that out.
Interesting.
Honestly, for me, I don't see a big purpose. Unless you are... The AI features that I've seen so far are not amazing.
Yeah. The other thing I'm noticing, and you've probably noticed this as well, Brandon, is the AI slop that's out there. And just for people who don't know what slop is, it's just what AI generates, right? Especially when it comes to visuals. It all looks the same.
Low effort.
Like
content.
It all looks the same.
Yep.
And as a result of that, when I'm scrolling now through all my, even on platforms where there's some pretty academically minded individuals that are now using AI, it all looks the same. And, to me, what stands out now is if it's actually boring garbage, that actually pops out more, right? Like if it's something that's not generated by AI, it actually pops out more to me than the actual AI stuff. Like when AI first came out and nobody was using it and people were generating, you kind of went, that's cool. That's cool, right? Like that looks really cool. But now it all looks the same. And what's interesting is as I'm going through it now, I'm going AI generated, original, right? Like it's getting a little harder, but it's interesting, right? So anyways, just something I've noticed.
If you're an Apple fan and you're wondering, do you have to pay for this Creator Studio at $12, $13 a month? I think it's American, so like probably 15 Canadian.
Yeah.
No, you do not have to do that. All the free Apple apps work the same. Just extra features will be available, and you'll have access to the premium video editing suite, which again, most people are going to be like, no.
It's interesting. I've played with AI lesson plan creators and slide creators, and it just doesn't follow proper formatting specifically to how to create a slide. Like I still see too many slides that these creators make that are just chock a block of too much information that they flash up all at the same time. So as you're talking about it, the participant in the audience are already reading 3 sentences ahead and you haven't even gotten there yet, right? Like they don't understand the stripping aspect and, doing all that other kind of stuff. So anyways, I still think like I get how quick it can be. Like, what takes you, because when we create our slide decks, it takes a while to do it and do it well. It's
about
right?
a week.
Right? It takes a while. And I can see how AI can shorten that, but at what extent? Because even if you get AI to do it for you and you go in and fix it, it's probably going to take you longer to do that now than if you would have done it the original way, right? So anyways, I kind of I got to agree with you as well again. I hate doing this. Like you actually said to me, because I was looking at AI to create infographics, because it's pretty good at creating infographics, and you go, don't. And now I can understand why.
Your graphic will look the same as to
everybody else's, right? Like I can see that, right? But then trying to create an infographic can take hours to do, right? If you're going to do it properly.
I'll also note here there are a lot of free. If you don't want to use like the Apple products or whatnot, there's a lot of free tools, like free video editing tools that you don't have to pay anything for. There's free picture editing tools that cost you nothing, so don't feel like you have to lock into an Adobe or an Apple Creator Studio license. Now, the free stuff works quite well. Ooh, story. Canada is allowing Chinese electric vehicles into the country at a limit of roughly 49,000 per year, looking to increase in over a couple years to like 70,000, and to decrease the tariff rate to it
was 10 or 20% or something.
Like
good on our prime minister for doing this. Like my opinion, because you know what drove this? Thank you, United States, right? Thank you, what's going on down there with your president right now, right? Because of what he's doing, it's causing other countries like Canada and other countries now to go, you know what? We can't depend upon them anymore. And so we have to look after our own.
So we're no longer allying with our American cousins. We're allying with the Chinese state.
But, I kind of see, it kind of reminds me when the United States, because the big motorcycle in the United States was always Indian motorcycle or Harley Davidson, right? And then all of a sudden Honda started creating motorbikes, right?
Okay.
And they wanted to ship them into the US. And then all of a sudden it was, no, we can't do that. We got to put these huge tariffs to stop this from happening. And then what did they quickly find? They quickly found that those motorcycles were actually working better and actually better priced than what the Americans were putting out. And they had a good product. And so all of a sudden now, so the same thing is happening here. I have no problem that if a country wants to sell us cars to put into our country, and in vice versa, it's going to open up trade to our Canadian farmers, then let it go.
But we have a car industry, and we can't undercut them.
Well, maybe, but we're not undercutting them. Trump is. And we have a cousin right now, Brandon, who is with a huge manufacturer in Ontario, car manufacturer.
Okay.
They've been let go. Half of the plant has been let go because they can no longer operate because of what's going on with Trump and his tariffs and everything else that he's going on. So you know what? Let's create maybe plants now where China gets to build their cars in our country. How about that?
Or they ship them to us.
Right, but why do that when all of a sudden we can build them here? That's what Honda does.
Yes. Well, I think that's the confusion here in regards to, are they shipping these? Because they're allowing up to
we got to ship them
49,000.
Yeah, we got to ship them now because we don't have the infrastructure to build them, right? But I
don't think it'll be financially beneficial to the car companies to build factories here.
Why not?
Because it's probably cheaper to ship them, I would think.
What about having factories that build the certain components of it? Like the batteries is a good example, right?
No, because Canadian labor is extremely expensive.
Yeah, well, I actually applaud this movement. Yes, it's the China. It's China. People are going, they're going to be spy vehicles. They're going to be spy vehicles. They're all going to have spy stuff in it, right? Whatever.
So can we put our Chinese EVs and our Chinese BC ferries?
Yeah, I know. So, but I personally don't disagree with this move. I actually think it's a smart move. The farmers in our country were absolutely they were in trouble, right? And because their largest, we stayed on a farm. Remember that when we went to Saskatchewan, northern Saskatchewan, and we were on one of the largest farms in Saskatchewan. And these guys were making canola, right? Yeah. And what was their primary client? China. Right? And so all of a sudden when China and this big war was going on with Trump, and Canadian hopped on board with that at the beginning, and all of a sudden China says, well, we're not buying from you anymore. All of a sudden our farmers are in big trouble. So I think this is a good saw.
Yep. Also 100% drop in tariffs for meal and pea.
Yeah.
And 25% tariff drop on lobster and crab.
Yeah, I actually applaud this move. And, I applaud it. This move would never have happened if it wasn't for the country to the south of us.
Let's hope hopefully the car companies that are going to be shipping to Canada aren't going to charge a subscription to heat your seat.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. That'll put a lot of competition.
Yeah, it's just, it's, again, why is this happening? Because of Trumponomics, right? Because of what he's decided to do. And, now his move to take over Greenland.
That's a different topic.
Oh my God, you got me going.
We're a tech show, not a geopolitical pure content show.
Oh my God.
Anyways, so it's 6.1% tariff.
I want my Nobel Prize. Oh, anyways.
Okay. So expect, at least for us Canadians, looks like some of the EVs can come in roughly priced, quoted at like $35,000, which is affordable.
Hyundai, Asian, electric. Honda, Asian, electric. I mean, there's Toyota, Asian, electric coming over. So, you know what? Here's another person coming into the market. You know what I think this will do? It'll also drive down the prices of all these other cars because they won't be able to compete.
It's also European brands you could probably partner with too.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
So, yes, I think we will see disruptions in the auto industry, but we're already seeing that.
We are.
Also,
huge.
Hello.
Our cousin's a good example of that.
Every industry, because of AI, is being disrupted.
Yeah.
Like white collar jobs, people who are losing their jobs because being replaced by AI.
But having said that, AI is also creating jobs that we never thought about. It's kind of like the Industrial Revolution, right? When automobiles were first invented, you know, people who had horse-drawn carriages were going, "Oh my God, it's going to be the end of the world, blah blah blah." You know, we're going to lose jobs. But then all of a sudden, cars, you needed gas stations, you needed mechanics, you needed companies to make tires and parts. So, you know, with AI, yeah, we're losing some of those jobs are going to be taken over by AI. However, I think AI in and of itself is also creating jobs that we never thought about. So now, will it be able to keep up with the amount of jobs that are being taken over? I don't know, right? So, but not all bad. It's all not doom and gloom.
All right. And those were some of the top news stories from last week we thought could have some practical impact, either if you're Canadian looking to buy a new car, if you are a parent, I want a new car now, if you are a parent who is looking to kind of manage YouTube content.
But here's the other thing about electric cars, right? Here we are in Vancouver Island.
Yep.
We're already straining to meet electrical needs. We have this old cable that runs from the mainland over here to the island to keep us powered. And we've already been told it's like 15 years old, right? It needs to be replaced and that kind of stuff. And then when all of a sudden you combine the changes in climate, so more people are going to heat pumps for air conditioning during the summers and heat during the winters. And now you add EV into the electrical grid, like holy moly, we're just not going to be able to keep up. And then when you add in these data plants that they have to create in order to get those powered and the amount of water is needed to cool those down, what kind of an environmental impact is that now having? Like in Nanaimo right now, here on Vancouver Island, there's a huge battle going on right now because there's a huge company who wants to build a huge data center up there. And people are going, well, hold on a second here. We're already struggling with issues surrounding water and electrical up here. Like, what's this going to do to the infrastructure up here? And why? Well, you got me going. Why should I, as a taxpayer, be flipping the bill on the increase in our electrical bills so that BC Hydro can build these plants for these tech companies?
Why do we have bigger bills?
Because there's more need, and because there's more need, all of a sudden the costs go up.
So shouldn't a data center company build their own dams?
Exactly. And that's what's going on.
Doesn't that seem fair?
Well, and that's where the discussions are going. The discussions are going, okay, you know what? If you guys want to build this stuff, but then what you have happen is then you got people like Elon Musk building Colossus, who had the permission, he had a license, or basically he was given okay to build, 17 of the natural gas.
I saw that article.
17. Yeah. And how many did he build? 35.
I was considering adding it, but he was found in violation of something because of that.
Yes. Yeah. And he said, "Oh, those are just backups in case the other ones go down." So you know what a researcher did? He flew a drone over Colossus with an infrared camera, and all of them were running. And then he was able to figure out the amount of hydrocarbons that this stuff was pushing out into the community, right? It was brutal. So these are things. These are some of the issues surrounding AI that, you know, that's why Amazon and who was the other one? Google, they're looking to put their data centers in space. Why? Because space is cold, so they can cool it, so they don't need water. And number two, solar, right, to power it. OpenAI is now looking at small nuclear type of power plants. Right, where they're these small, like they've already invested big money into one company that's developing these small nuclear reactors to help power their grids. Right, it's because the amount of power that it needs is unbelievable. But you know, if it's on Earth, they still haven't solved the cooling issue. Anyways,
there was one CS product I didn't add. I considered it, but because there wasn't like an actual production date.
Right,
but it was built-in home AI centers. Yeah. And the heat runoff would go to your water heater.
Well, I think it's Miracle. I think they're calling it the big one that the Sharks tank. What's his name? The Canadian on there. The billionaire guy, Kevin O'Leary. He's
yes.
involved in a huge project in Alberta. I think they call it Miracle Valley, and it's hundreds of acres. And they're building this data center right next to a huge river. That's where they're going to get all their hydropower from and their water from.
Where's the river go to?
It flows south in the United States, so we're going to take all their water. Anyways.
We don't need a reason for an invasion.
I know. But one of the things he's doing with his design is the water that's used to cool, because that water will now get heated, right, because of convection. What he's now doing is they're funneling the warm water back into the city, into all the homes that they're building and office buildings, and that's how they're heating. And then from there, they're pushing it back out into the river, right, and stuff.
That's a very European model.
Yeah.
Because there were some places in Europe, I think in history, I don't know if they still do, where heat excess from like socialized owned facilities would be piped hot water into homes.
Yeah. I thought, okay, that's like, again, I think some of the more ethical builders are looking at some of the issues that we never thought about, right? Like water and heat and power, and going, okay, how can we do this as an environmentally sensitive way as we can to help protect our environment? Because again, one of the things that I found, like I mentioned, while you asked me to keep the audience entertained, at a couple of the past AI programs I've done at high schools, it's interesting when I talk to the teens, how many of the teens talking to me say that they're really concerned, not so much about safety and security, but about the impacts that AI is having on the environment and what kind of world are we going to leave them? I went, oh, that's
I don't know. I think I did hear something about Bill Gates say something about the future, and it's like, yeah, but we'll live underground essentially. Like we will survive, but it won't be pleasant.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Oh.
Well, on that note, from that tangent, thank you all so much. Those are some of the top news stories and our tangents and rants for the week. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you all. I think next show was a bit later because we have a presentation.
We have a presentation we're doing,
and so we'll do a show a bit later, but still on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it's 5:30 or something like that.
Something
we're going to do
like
the show.
that.
Yeah. All right.
We'll see you all then.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Notice the camera's down below. There's something wrong. Good afternoon, Dr. Court. How you brought yourself to where you are today?
Wanting to be generous and accommodating.
Work with young people.
We decided to do some background research on these three major mobile ISPs, what's clearly prohibited and could in fact be a violation of their terms of service.
We thought this would be an opportunity to create a video about general buying and selling safety tips on the internet.
Created a version 2 that they call the Donashi Scholar, and which is specifically designed for you about a new mobile phone that was on the market called the Wise Phone.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unanswered Questions. Sometimes we just don't get enough time to answer all the amazing questions from students during our live broadcast. Recent bug in Meta, Facebook, and Instagram proves you cannot always trust a password. AI cybercrime is